So why software health? Well, we've asked a lot of questions here at the show. We've asked everybody, are you doing cloud things? Do you ever have any problems with performance or even degradation? That's why we're talking about it. It's the next big step in moving forward for especially cloud applications is to create higher reliability, higher scalability, because you know the dynamics of the cloud applications. So the ability to make them more resilient, more reliable, increase the numbers. We're not going to get up to where the mainframe is, which is 99.99999, but we want to get above 60%. Okay, and we get asked for that consistently. So with that in mind, how do you get there? You say, we're an observability platform. Well, we're a real-time observability platform. That's the first thing, is we gather 1-second metrics, full end-to-end traces with no sampling, and then put context around that so you get notified of issues within 3 seconds. What does that mean to you? You're able to get ahead of the problems that are occurring. You can't do it with sample data. You can't wait 5 minutes for something to come to your attention, because by then you have users screaming or abandoning carts if you have carts on your site, or worse yet, they're on social media saying, hey, their application is really doing poorly. You need to have better resiliency to avoid all that. So in that, okay, by how to achieve it is first starting with real-time observability. Get the metrics. How do we achieve that? We had to redesign what had been previously known as APM and add in a lightning fast. Actually, I love this. I may ask if I can rename our storage architecture Lightning, because that's what it is. It's extremely fast and big to store a lot of information. The other part of it is to do some very advanced streaming and compression to take all of that telemetry and store it. We take 1-second metrics for 24 hours and then retain it for weeks in a more compressed format after that. But that's good for MTTR when you want to fix problems, okay? If you want to find a problem that's been occurring and then it's really become annoying, okay, and there's a break and you realize it's a code, you go into our auto profiler and we tell you what's going wrong. And we can take you right to the line of code where the problem's happening. But the one thing that has occurred in performance monitoring, so to speak, has been, and certainly from the cloud, is with microservices, we've flipped the script from code-centric being the problem to network-centric being the problem. What does that mean? There's a lot of other things that you have to monitor to ensure that you can keep your microservices architectures running. You're scaling it all the time, and that's where the problems usually are created, is when you're scaling and changing microservices, adding new containers, taking containers away. If you find a bad container, you want to have a plan to roll it out and then roll it back in when it's fixed. And all of that needs to be in real time, otherwise it becomes obvious that that's happening with your software. So with our architecture, we look very much into being preventive, giving indications that trends are starting to occur before they turn into incidents. Our message is literally, the best incident is one that never happens, because we want to be able, and we do give you the information on what's trending to basically handle issues before they become incidents. Because once an incident occurs, pretty much everybody knows that the incident occurs. So the way to achieve health and make it look like your software is doing extremely well is to take care of those issues before they turn into bigger problems. And the only way you can do that is with real-time information. You can't do it by finding out what happened 5 minutes after it happened. By then, it's already a big problem. So Instana was engineered with that concept in mind. A bunch of veterans from the APM industry said, for the cloud, we're going to have to do something different, because it's a network-centric, not a code-centric world anymore. So we have to adjust for that, and that's going to require telemetry. And that's what we offer, is basically the real-time telemetry. Now what we're doing is going to step beyond that. We're not just content with finding problems and telling you about it. Now we're hooking it up with AIOps, which has been a big part of the IBM acquisition string as well. You may have heard of Watson. the computer that beat Ken Jennings in Jeopardy? Well, we're using that technology along with Turbonomic, and we just announced here at the show we had a partnership or started a partnership with AWS in the fall. And now we announce Compute Optimizer and Cost Optimizer, which do similar things to what Turbo does, except it's a SaaS-based thing as opposed to Turbo is more of a on-premise. And what that does is when you have to scale, it makes sure that you aren't resource-starved, because that we find is a big part of the problems that occur with software, is as you scale, you're out of memory, not enough network bandwidth, those sorts of things. And what we do is we automate that. Everything is automated and focused towards automation. We do it with AI and ML to basically, because you don't want your programmers spending time adding more memory to the application. The machine can't do that better. And we gather that information through the telemetry, we watch for the trend, and then we pass it to these products that are integrated. They take our telemetry and make the adjustments so that we can, in that process, avert any of the problems that may occur. I don't need to switch this.
Just say.
Oh.
Switch.
Slide, please. Next slide, please. No.
Okay.
Give it a go. So that is our focus, but there are times when you have to fix the code. We want to get you through that aspect of things as quickly as we can, okay, to ensure that your MTTR time is as slow as possible. And we get noted, and that from our customers, is that, yeah, you cut down our MTTR like crazy because you drill down with that context right to where the issue is. We have an auto profiler that runs the minute the product starts, and the product is automatically installed. We're part of the automation group at IBM. So automation is what we do. In order to achieve health of your applications, you have to have a lot of automated processes. You decide what you don't want to have automated, you have to automate things. Things are automated. We can hook it up with automated remediation, but we also have semi-automated automation. We just announced a partnership with PagerDuty here at the show, where we're sending it to automatically create runbooks, so that if you want to run runbooks and use that as your response to an incident, you'll have runbooks available to you. Watson also does runbooks. So whatever is your preference for remediating any type of issue, you have a span of options that you can try. But you have to start at the core with real-time observability, because if you don't have that telemetry, you're not going to know where the issues are occurring. And then there's a concept of OTel. I'll let Josh talk about that a little bit. We're also hooking all of that up to our OTel support so that you get the same quality of telemetry from OpenTelemetry as you do from Instana telemetry. So we're broadening it out as well as automating and going towards remediation as a start. We just started a remediation group in the last 6 months, and we're announcing all these sort of partnerships. We're building an ecosystem so you can get to solving the problem the fastest. So I'll turn it over to my colleague Josh and let him explain a little bit more.
Absolutely. So just catching up on the slides a little bit. So at Instana, we start with an agent-based architecture for most types of applications. And you're going to install the agent on your servers, and it's going to start sending all of these metrics, telemetry signals back to our backend or to your on-premise backend if that's how you choose to run it. And the most important thing that we're going to do with all of that information, beyond compressing it and storing it in a cost-effective format, which if any of you have run your own Prometheus or Elasticsearch instances, you know how difficult that can be, right? So we're going to solve that storage challenge, but then we're also going to normalize the data for ourselves in a way that we can process it and run your queries as quickly as possible, and actually combine all of those different telemetry signals so that we can give you full context, so that when you're looking at a span, you have the context of the node that was processing that span at that time, along with any log messages that are relevant, whether those are coming from your application logs or your infrastructure logs. So we like, if you come by the Instana booth, we can show you a demo of this context map that is really so important to everything that we're able to do intelligently with Instana to help you. So what can we do with that? Well, one of the things that we can do is we can do smart alerting. So Tom was kind of talking about this. static thresholds don't really work for alerting. Like you're just always in this process of trial and error, fine-tuning your thresholds, trying to make sure that you're not missing the important alerts, because downtime is expensive, as we reviewed, but also that you're not getting too many alerts and just becoming numb to the alerts that you're getting, and you have engineer fatigue. We also have AIOps. So this is in a situation where maybe you don't even want to get to the point that you're getting alerted. So Tom kind of talked about this with Turbonomic for resource management, and then also with PagerDuty for automated remediation, and coming soon built into Instana also some other automated remediation partners. And so what this allows us to do is with those 1-second granularity metrics, we can detect anomalies within 3 seconds. Meanwhile, our competitors are still waiting to sample those metrics in 10 seconds. In 3 seconds, we can detect an anomaly and implement a solution to that. If it's a novel problem that we've never seen before, maybe we do need to alert you on it. And you're going to go through and you're going to say, actually, OK, so for this problem, I'm going to run this runbook. We'll observe all of that happening as your remediation. And the next time that problem occurs, it's just going to happen automatically for you. And it will get remediated, ideally, before any of your customers even notice that there was an issue. What that can look like with something like Turbonomic is a graph more like this. So this is the effect of having intelligent resource management powered by the types of telemetry that we can collect with Instana. And we have just a few more minutes left, so are there any questions about anything we've spoken about so far? OK. So one last thing I just want to mention is we have a partnership with AWS Compute Optimizer. If you're running workloads in AWS, I definitely recommend you give it a try. Hook it up to your AWS account, contact your Instana account manager to have them turn it on for you. And within 30 hours, you'll start getting right-sizing recommendations based on the memory utilization on your EC2 instances. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to summarize, I want to say, why are we doing this? Because we hear that spend in the cloud is eating people alive, and reliability is an issue. So we're looking at solving those problems for organizations. Instead of focusing on branching out in other areas, we want to focus on the problem and fix it so that when you talk to Think Instana, you're saying, yeah, they're the guys that fix software and make it work well or keep it running. Why do I say that? Because I've been a BC in disaster recovery. That's where I started my career. So it's coming back in, now renamed as an SRE, but SREs are becoming one of the most important folks within organizations because they keep the applications alive. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much, Tom.